Let me show you something here by way of lamb service today. I've got two glasses, and one of them has some water in the glass, and I'm going to show you something here that these are one of the lights that we got that we passed out, I think, on Father's Day and so forth. What's poured into us and what lights our life, what gives us the spark, that internal spark, it comes from God. Is what matters. And it's what has meaning. I was showing this Wednesday night as I gathered with my family, that part of God that is in us has to do with how religious we are, or how spiritual we are, or how closely we follow the directions. But it has to do with the presence of God in us. It has to do with something that is not us, or ours, or me, or mine. It's something that comes down from above, something that fills us, a spark that is in our heart, something that perhaps can only be seen in the darkest of times, something that moves from us to others, something that comes from us that actually comes from God. Not something that's just me. That supersedes all of our doubts and fears, our questions, our unresolved issues. Those are the things that God intends to pour of Himself into us, that changes us and that becomes a part of Him in us. That's more important than our religious activities, our ritualistic practices, our observance of laws and commandments, but a part of the very nature and person of God. Let me tell you something. There is no one who loves us like God. There is no one who has done more for us than God. And when that is coming from our life to others, they'll know that it's not just that I'm a very good person, or that you're a good person, or that I've made the right choices, or that I understand the mysteries of life. What they need who they really need to meet is not so much me, but the Christ who lives in me, the God who fills my life with Himself to overflowing. And that overflow is what we see. Now, there are some questions that are raised, and there are not an abundance of answers in the book of Job. But the thing is that we see from the very first chapter that God is aware of Job. He sees and He understands. He knows more about what's going on in Job's life than Job does. And yes, God is approving, and He is allowing many hardships to come into Job's life. It is not God's intent or His purpose to sit up into heaven and to protect Job from any harm. Satan even makes that accusation against God. If you do not protect him and keep him from harm, he won't believe in you. He won't love you. He won't serve you. He won't follow you. He won't adore you. Well, Satan was wrong, and God proved it. It was important. It's important for us to know that there are things that are more important than my life, things that are more important than my health, things more important than my comfort or my ease. There are more important things in life than having treasures and material things.